Big day for the European football following the big nights of the European football. UEFA has dropped on us 3 draws for their main competitions: Champions League, Europa League and Conference League. So let's dive deeper in that. After showing you the results of the draw, I will also share my predictions for each of the tournaments. So stick closer and compare with your own thoughts. So let's start with Champions League, of course. Pedro Pinto was hosting all those 3 draws. Of course, Giorgio Marchetti supported him, actually doing all the main job. Kudos for Giovanni Infantino, the previous host. And this time they called Giovanni Elber to be responsible and the one to blame for the results. So let's look at the teams, how they were drawn and what pairs we've got. The first team that was taken from the ball was Aston Villa, and their first opponent will be Brugge. These 2 teams have already played and Brugge won 1-0, so let's see how they will play 2 games. The next pair was Borussia Dortmund and LOSC Lille. I will talk more about teams' chances closer to the prediction phase. Then the next pair is, oh my god, Madrid's derby, Real Madrid Atletico Madrid. We have seen the games of those teams this season. I think another one should also give us great emotions. And also we've got German battle, Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen. We've seen those teams play like recently, and the game, even though resulted as a draw 0-0, was a game of wasted opportunities for Leverkusen. I'm so hyped to see those teams playing against each other 2 more times. Then we've got the PSV Eindhoven and Arsenal London. On paper, Arsenal looks like the team that should advance to the next stage, but we'll see. I think Feyenoord managers were not that lucky to have Inter, because even though Arsenal is a team with a great squad, they are not as tough in defense as Inter is. And also we have another showdown, Paris Saint-Germain-Liverpool. Oh, that would be a wonderful battle. And we also have Benfica-Barcelona. And for those who say it will be easy work for Barcelona, just remember how those teams played just a couple weeks ago. So now here are all the main results and let's go and make our predictions. So first, let's talk about PSV and Arsenal. Even though those teams have their own struggles, PSV Eindhoven has lots of injured players and Arsenal has lost all their main strikers, I still think that Arsenal should advance to the next round. So this is my prediction. Regarding Real Madrid Atletico Madrid, well guys, honestly, I know Atletico Madrid is a great team who's playing tough in the defense and is not very comfortable opponent for Real Madrid, but as a Real Madrid fan, guess what? Yes, of course, Real Madrid advances to the next round. Paris Saint-Germain-Liverpool, this is a tough one, and honestly I think those are pretty much equal opponents at the moment, with just a tiny little bit advantage of Liverpool because they have had a rest, but that may be also an advantage of Paris because they are in a great shape. So I expect those games to be very much entertaining, but still give my voice to Liverpool. Bruges Aston Villa. I don't think we will see lots of goals in those 2 games, but still, despite Bruges won Aston Villa in the main round, I give my vote to ultimate good evening guys. Okay, Benfica-Barcelona. Honestly, I hope Benfica will do their best to defeat Barcelona, but in the end, I still think Barcelona will advance to the next round, because those are 2 games, not 1. Dortmund-Lille. For now, Lille seems like a valuable option because Dortmund is something no one can predict. The team that has defeated Sporting not in their best shape and should have done this in the second game as well, still lost to an outsider Bochum and also to Stuttgart, so I think Lille will advance to the next round. Regarding Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern Munich, honestly Bayern Munich is not in a great shape at the moment. They have nearly lost to Celtic and Bayer should have won their Bundesliga's game. So I think Leverkusen is in much better shape at the moment and they must advance to the next round. Regarding the Feyenoord-Inter, I think it's pretty obvious, even though Inter is not in their best shape at the moment, but still their defense is pretty much impressive. And I don't think that Feyenoord can win against the second Milano's team in a row. Now let's talk about the quarterfinals. If we're talking about Arsenal versus Real Madrid, I think the obvious choice here is Real Madrid, which I will put in here. Not because I think that Arteta has a worse team than Ancelotti, but I think Real Madrid should be the team that will be advanced to the next round. If we're talking about Liverpool and Aston Villa, they have played a game recently and it ended with a draw. Even though I will hope that Aston Villa can make it to the semi-final to fight against Real Madrid, I still put on Liverpool. Now, if you talk about Barcelona versus Lille, I think that it's pretty obvious that Barcelona should advance to the next round. Even though Lille is a good team, but honestly Barcelona is not Dortmund. And if we're talking about Leverkusen versus Inter, Leverkusen is in a great shape and I think they will still have a great battle versus Inter and they have like 45% chance, honestly, but Inter's defense, I think that will be their main argument. That's why I think Inter will advance to the semi-final. Now let's talk about semi-finals. First game, Real Madrid-Liverpool. Liverpool can be in a great shape, but still I think Real Madrid will win because they have a good history versus Liverpool and they are getting better closer to the season's end. That's why Real Madrid will play in the final against... As much as I would like to see the El Clasico as the final, I still think that Inter defense is tougher than it may seem. So we will see Real Madrid versus Inter. I'm not sure if Dani Carvajal will be available, but I think there may be another striker. Why not Kylian Mbappé or Vinicius, who may just break that Inter's tough defense, and Real Madrid will win this season's Champions League title. That is my prediction. Now let's move on to the Europa League, the second European Cup. Why would we change the host? Of course not, Pedro Pinto is in his place. And this time they have invited Aritz Aduriz to be the person to blame for the results of the draw. I think it's an excellent choice for the person as an ambassador, and those three guys look pretty much awesome in one room. And look how Aritz codes those pieces of paper. It seems like he was born for this role. So the first pair of contesters is Bodo Glimt versus Olympiacos. I still can see those flashbacks of Bodo Glimt winning over Roma 6-2. I adore that game. I love Bodo Glimt for that season, but they are not that great this one. And Olympiacos is guided by Sir Mendilibar, so I think that will be a tough one. Next pair, Fenerbahce Rangers, Jose Mourinho versus Rangers. We will talk about predictions a little bit later, but still I think that this pair may give us a wonderful entertainment. Ajax Eintracht Frankfurt. Well, Ajax has given us a show versus Royal Union Saint-Germain, that was a great one, not for Ajax fans, and Eintracht without Mermush, even though they have Ekitike and other players, still not the same. Now we have two teams with 4 letters in their names, and I think you know what my prediction will look like. But still, let's get closer and take a look at another teams. AZ Alkmaar Tottenham. Honestly, I watched both games of AZ versus Galatasaray and I adore how Alkmaar players did their job. Even though 50% of the work was done by Galatasaray's defenders, but still they have made a wonderful performance. Regarding Tottenham, well, Spurs are not in the best shape now, so let's continue further. Real Sociedad Manchester United. Well, to be honest, Manchester United is simply drawing nowadays, and Real Sociedad feels pretty much confident. So let's talk about predictions a bit later. Victoria Pilsen Lazio, I think it's pretty obvious one. Even though Victoria destroyed Ferencvaros in the second game, Lazio is still probably one of the main favorites of this tournament. Roma Athletic Bilbao, I think this is the toughest game that we will see. Even though Athletic Bilbao in a great shape now, but Roma has Dybala and Athletic has brothers Williams. That will be a great showdown. So now we can see the final draw and let's talk about predictions. So again, talking about the first two teams, AZ Alkmaar and Tottenham, I think Tottenham is not in a great shape at the moment and I'm still surprised why Postecoglou still holds his place. So I think if they lose to AZ Alkmaar, we will finally see another coach. So that's why I vote for AZ Alkmaar. If I talk about Ajax versus Frankfurt, I think even though Eintracht has lost Omar Marmoush, they still hold a great power and Ajax will not be able to compete. That's why I think Eintracht will advance to the next round. Bode Glimt Olympiacos, that's also a tough one, because I've been watching over Bode Glimt and they are pretty much great, but this season they are not that strong as they used to be. And Olympiacos looks like a very much balanced team, so I think Olympiacos will advance to the next round. Victoria Plzeň Lazio, that will not be an easy trip for Lazio, but I think they will still advance for the next round. Okay, Fenerbahce Rangers. Jose Mourinho fans in here? Yeah, I would like to see the one moving further. Roma Athletic. Roma is not in their best conditions at the moment and Athletic Bilbao is, but if they would have played one game I would vote for Roma, but 2 games challenge I vote for Athletic Bilbao. Steaua Bucharest can be a great team and all, but I still think that Olympique Lyons is much stronger as a team and they will advance to the next round. Real Sociedad Manchester United. I was thinking about this for a while and I still think that Real Sociedad is more balanced team than Manchester United at the moment. Also with all that number of injured players from United, I think Real Sociedad will even probably win both games. So Sociedad must advance to the next round. Now let's check for the quarterfinals. AZ Alkmaar, Eintracht Frankfurt. You may say that I think Alkmaar is much better than it actually is, but we will see about it. And I still think they should beat Eintracht and move to the semi-final. So I vote for AZ Alkmaar. Moving on to the next couple of teams. Even though Mendilibar may still be under the influence of Sevilla's spell, I think Lazio must advance to the next round. But I will not be surprised if Olympiacos will defeat them. But still, in my prediction, I vote for Lazio. Okay, moving on to other quarterfinals. Jose Mourinho, Williams Brothers, Jose Mourinho, Williams Brothers. Athletic must advance to the semi-final. Olympique Lyon, Real Sociedad. I think Real Sociedad is much stronger at this moment. I'm not sure how it will be when they will play quarterfinals, but still I think that Real Sociedad must go to the semi-final. Yeah, I want to see that Basques derby. So the first semi-final, AZ Alkmaar Lazio. You may think, Lazio. No guys, I think AZ Alkmaar. I think they should be the team that may surprise lots of you. Yes, of course I may be wrong and they may just lose to Tottenham at the round of 16, but still I vote for AZ to go to the final. Yes, you heard me right. Unless Provedel scores another goal during the final seconds of the second game. And for the Basques derby, Athletic Bilbao or Real Sociedad, I think Williams Brothers will make the difference and Athletic Bilbao will go to the final and fight with AZ Alkmaar in there. And I think that the winner of the Europa League will be Athletic Bilbao. Yeah, I just want to see that pineapple Nico Williams holding the cup over his head. So yeah, that's all for predictions for Europa League. Now, who's watching Conference League? Should we just skip it or nah? Let's do the same thing here. Okay, Pedro Pinto, one more time, in different colors. Marchetti. He was trying so hard, almost jumping out of his pants to prove that Europa League actually means something. I mean, if you just look at the competitors for this tournament, you may see that there are not many big names competing for that cup. After all, National Championships qualification just made it possible for only 3 teams to land in Conference League instead of Europa League. The average teams from Italy, England and Spain. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but this season not many teams with big names landed there after the qualifications from Europa League. And in case we would have the previous year's format, that would have happened. But if you're out in Europa League, you're out at all. And if to mention broadcasting issues, well, we have Europa League games broadcasting at the same time as the Conference League's games. And what would you prefer? Let's say Porto Roma or Celje Apoel? I think the choice is pretty obvious. Personally, I have watched a couple games of Chelsea just because there was nothing more interesting in the the Europa League at the same time for me personally. But that was not pure entertainment, especially if we consider that Chelsea played with their second squad. So basically I just wanted to watch over Joao Felix and Mikhailo Mudryk. I don't think there are that many observers as me out there. So I think they should change something in the format or maybe in the broadcasting time for conference leagues for the next season if they want this tournament to succeed after all. Okay, moving on. And we have Michal Ževlakov as the one to blame for the final results. Yeah, look at this guy, he looks so strong now. And of course I picked the screen when he holds the Legiawarszawa paper. Feels so natural. Okay, so he made it. There will not be early battle between Legia and Jagiellonia. Instead, Jagiellonia will face Cerclebrugge. Honestly, those teams are pretty much the same to me, so prediction will be very much lucky guess, hopefully. Next pair, Legiawarsaw. Molde was seconds away from losing, but still they got to this stage. And Legia is the team that I can tell is not stable for a very long time. You can expect them to win over their opponent with 3 or 4 goals, or just start losing a couple of goals and then trying to make it to the next round. They have a character, yeah, that is true, but it's not an easy thing for their fans to watch their games. And as you can see, both sides look pretty much confident about this battle. Okay, moving on. Celje Lugano. Celje is a great surprise because I think no one expected them to defeat Apoel, and Lugano is not in their best shape, so basically two almost unknown teams are playing against each other. Who cares about the result? I care to make a prediction! Next team, pafosfc. Surprisingly, both teams are playing average games and their level is just the conference league. We'll see about that, which of them should advance forward. One of the favorites and actually the teams expected to win the tournament is Fiorentina, and their next opponent will be Panathinaikos. When I look at those faces of Panathinaikos management, I think they are not really happy about having such an opponent. As for the next couple of teams, Rapid may be very much happy to play against Borussiadortmund, whose representative is Hugh Jackman. Is that you? Why isn't Ryan Reynolds around? Nah, I think that guy can take it all alone by himself. And now just look at those faces of realbetis representative and Victoria Guimaraes one. He's just watching with the question, yeah, you know it's coming. It's inevitable. And I don't think anyone wanted to have Chelsea as their opponent, but Copenhagen took the lucky ticket. I wonder how long it would take to bring Mudryk back. Will he play in those games? Probably not. So here are all the pairs of teams that were drawn, and now let's make our super precise predictions. Yeah, of course I think we can just skip to Real Betis versus Fiorentina and Chelsea versus probably Rapid, but let's do it in more detail, shall we? So Real Betis Victoria Guimaraes. Even though Victoria Guimaraes is a great team and they have shown a very great effort against Sporting, I have watched that game that ended in a draw 4-4, I still think Betis will advance to the next round. If you're talking about Jagiellonia and Cerclebrugge, honestly I don't know, I don't care, both teams look pretty much the same to me, so I will just bet on Jagiellonia. Celje and Lugano. Again, the same as Jagiellonia and Cerclebrugge. Their chances are pretty much 50-50 and I will put my vote on Celje. Regarding Panathinaikos Fiorentina, I think Fiorentina is one of the main teams that are expected to win this tournament, and of course they will not have much trouble with Panathinaikos. Okay, Copenhagen Chelsea. Do I really need to explain this? No, just Chelsea. Molde Legia. Molde did crawl to this round, so I think Legia will advance further. Pafosfc. Their chances are pretty much 50-50, but I will put my vote on Pafos. Boras Banaluka Rapid, Hugh Jackman, sorry, Rapid goes further. Okay, moving on to quarterfinals. Real Betis, Jagiellonia, Białystok. Jagiellonia, guys, you are great, but not that great. Real Betis, moving forward. Celje Fiorentina, I think is pretty obvious, and I think Fiorentina again will have no trouble against Celje. Remind me that when they lose to Celje in a penalty knockout. Then Chelsea versus Chelsea. Pafos versus Rapid. I don't think that Pafos is that Pafos that can win Rapid. Even though Rapid is not a super great team at the moment, but I still think they should advance to the semi-final. That's their level. And here comes the fun part. Real Betis, Fiorentina. Da-da-da! I think Fiorentina will be one of the first finalists. And the second one will be, lucky guess, Chelsea. And when Enzo Maresca is so close on getting his first title with Chelsea, I think they will stand no chance against Squadra Viola. Moise Kean will be the one who will score in the final, hopefully he will make it to the final. And yes, I think Fiorentina will win this year's Conference League. What are your thoughts? Tell me in the comments. If you like this video, hit like, subscribe, any other buttons you may see, that's totally up to you. Thank you for your attention, see you soon and stay happy.